And it wasn't until about 2 days later that you guys started sending me pictures and little messages. I got a lot of messages from that podcast last week. Weird ones, but all good. All on the positive side. You know, we're happy you and Lee, blah, blah, blah. No. And again, that's what I don't understand. Like, what are you happy that me and Lee have always been cool? After we ended the podcast, there was a couple weeks of, you know, bad feelings, like why, how, but he wasn't in the right mental state, and guess what? Neither was fucking I. Neither was I. But one guy sent a picture to my Facebook, and it was brilliant. He took a shot of me and Lee last Monday, and he took a shot of me and Lee like January of 2020. I don't know who we had on the podcast. And guys, I looked at that picture and I was like, whoa. To see it and to think it and to read it to see it fucking shocked me. Like I had a neck. I didn't have swelling around my face. Lee lost a head. His head, with the picture I saw, January 2020, and I have a picture that Lee looks just god-awful. I took that picture because I was like, this is the last time I'm going to see this kid. The next time I see this kid's in a hospital room or something. And I stared at that picture, and I sent him the picture about a year after we moved, and he was in shock. He looked like a ball of salt. It's like salt had just creeped into his body. And let me tell you what happened, guys. We started the podcast in 2000. Let's get back to it. I was doing a podcast with Felicia. I started bringing up some rough topics, you know. And Felicia's a fucking sweetheart. That's another person I adore. She hit me up this week. She met the guy that was the cinematographer on a movie her and I really enjoyed, Soul Power. It was a movie about a festival in Africa around Muhammad Ali and I think George Foreman or Joe Frazier. I don't know. And, you know, we're just tight, man. She comes to visit me. I flew back here with her. When we moved, she flew with us. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, she came back here with us. And we're tight, man. So to see, like, that Lee and I weren't getting along, those are all lies. And what happened was this, man. Lee and I started that podcast in a fucking bedroom. And then my wife got knocked up. So we must have started that podcast in 2012. Then my wife got knocked up, and then we went to his apartment. And, guys, it was just a fucking podcast. It was just two guys talking shit. We had a guy call in from time to time in the mornings. At 6 in the morning, we had guests calling in. A fucking nightmare. We had no idea what we were doing. And then we fucking, Lee got a girlfriend. She was moving in, so we got a studio, and that studio was a fucking disaster. The lady threw us out. She kept banging on the door. But guys, this shit was all fucking fun. You know, it was a podcast that was about fun. We did the acid. It was just fun. It hadn't been done before on a podcast, so we took you guys out of, now they do everything on podcasts. But it was fun. And then we moved into the office that we ended the podcast with. And whatever we were doing at the other office on Lancashire and the other office, it all came to a boil there. But something happened that crossed paths. I was having a great time, guys. I'm selling out shows. I'm starting to make money after 20 years in the fucking business. And I'm very excitable. My wife had a child. I got invited to do Oddball Fest, which for years they wouldn't even talk to me. That was a great feather in my cap. I got to apologize to Wendy from Denver. We came to an agreement of what had happened with me saying I smacked the girl's ass, whatever. And everything was fine. Everything was going great. But like everything else in life, you want more. And I did want a Netflix special. I really did, guys. I thought that if I got a special, I thought I was ready. I was never, ever good at specials before. I had shot one for a company. I had a couple CDs. But Netflix was big. The problem was my agent couldn't sell it. So he came to me one day and he goes, I got the way to get you on Netflix. We're going to get you a manager. He really likes you. He's called about you a few times. And he was a great manager with a great management team behind him. At this time, I had the number one manager and the top agency in my corner. Like, again, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, these motherfuckers wouldn't even have wanted me in the room. And now I got the best two agents in the world, or management team and whatever. So I'm very excited. I'm thinking that now is my chance to do whatever the fuck I want. So again, I sold the TV show to Fox on an idea I had. That was great. You know, when I first got to LA, when you got a developmental deal, you had an idea they were giving you millions or $500,000 or six figures. I got neither of that shit. I got like 22 fucking grand. I'm telling you guys the truth. Here's a fucking TV show. And I get 22 grand. I know a guy that got $1 million and never even wrote a pilot. I wrote a pilot, I got 22 grand afterwards. Again, it's not about the money, it's about the opportunity. And I'm telling you these facts just to be honest, as honest as I can with you. Did I want the show? Yeah, I wanted to do the show. It would have been something different. It would have been great, you know. But I knew, come on, guys, I'm never going to make this work. I'm going to say something. I can't be in a corporate setting. So it all went down the drain. And I was okay with that. I was having a great time being a comic. I really was. It was exciting to travel, but I was wearing myself down, man. It was a lot, and I didn't know it at all. 2 podcasts a week, doing 2 other people's podcasts a week, you know, 4 planes a fucking week, you know, 1 to get to the first place, then you do the fucking theater, then you gotta get another flight and go to another fucking town on Saturday morning, and then Sunday you're right back at it again. Again, I'm not whining. This is part of the thing. But for 20 years, for the last 50 years, nobody had a podcast. So people were just doing comedy. And every once in a while you booked a movie and then you canceled comedy and shot the movie, whatever. I was going. I was burning the candle on both sides. Plus, guys, we're fucking smoking major pounds of weed. We're going through a fucking quarter a day of high-end 30%, 28%, 27% weed, 7 days a fucking week. You know, anywhere you go, there's weed. Anywhere, any comedy club you go to, there's weed. Not to mention we're eating fucking 2,000 milligrams of THC a night. Not to mention the fucking 500-600 I'm doing in the daytime on my own, popping every time I go by a fucking desk.